All right, well, it's time to welcome in speed coach Ryan Flaherty to the KUSI studios, fresh off the golf course. You told me not to ask you how you golfed at the crossings today, so I won't. So let's start with, now you trained several guys in this year's draft, including the #7 overall pick. I'm assuming that's probably the highest guy you've ever trained, Mike Evans. Why is this guy, this receiver, going to be so good?
Yeah, Mike is an amazing athlete. I mean, former basketball player. His vertical jump's 39 inches. He is fast. He can run a 4.4, 4.5. And he's big physical, has amazing hands, and he's just a special player. I think he's a lot of why Johnny Manziel was so successful at A&M. He made him look really good in a lot of the plays that might not have gone so well if it was a smaller receiver. And just his body, his size, and his athleticism, the combination is going to work really well in the NFL.
And you compared him to Vincent Jackson a little bit. I mean, size and speed and athletic freakishness.
No, it's amazing that they're going to be playing together. I mean, to have those two guys in the same field when they're both pretty close to identical to each other in terms of physical attributes, it's going to be amazing. I mean, I don't know how defenses are going to prepare for them, but I'm excited to see.
All right, now we're going to talk about a guy that we heard so much about in the draft. Your most famous client this year, one Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football. What was it like training this guy, and what makes this guy so unique?
I've been asked that a lot. I mean, obviously, the one thing about Johnny, he just has that it factor. There's something about him that is different than anybody else I've worked with. I mean, training Cam Newton and Andrew Luck before, he sets himself apart in that he's ultra competitive. I mean, he wants to win, whether it be horse or ping pong or golf. I mean, he's always wanting to win. And he is a phenomenal athlete. When you see him, you don't think he looks like an amazing athlete, but based on the tests that we do at our facility, I mean, he tests out as a world-class athlete. I mean, he is that athletic. I mean, you think about the Chargers corner that they drafted, Jason Verrett. They tested the exact same in terms of the quickness drills, and Verrett's known for his quickness. So just to give you an idea of how quick and how explosive an athlete Johnny is, we'll see how that translates to the NFL. But it was great. It was great working with him. It's a once in a lifetime type of a player to work with based on what he did at the college level. So it was fun. It was exciting.
That brings us to our next question. The other first round quarterbacks, Blake Bortles goes #3, and then of course Teddy Bridgewater there to the Minnesota Vikings with the last pick. What's going to make Johnny better than these guys? Because you saw all these guys at the combine, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I think Johnny has that crazy innate ability to make things happen when there seems like there's nothing there. He can turn plays that seem dead into touchdowns. And I think for Johnny, it's going to be, can he separate himself in the classroom and study and prepare in the way that he needs to and avoid any off the field issues. Yeah, it is. It's the best place for that, actually. And so he has that ability to create when there's nothing that I don't think those two other guys have. And he's the most, I think, ready now than over those two. So I think he could be the most successful out of this draft for sure.
Another guy you trained, San Diego State's Eric Pinkins. Not a lot was really known about this guy, and he goes to Seattle. And the thing is, they have over $100 million invested in this defensive backfield. How's this guy going to even crack that 53-man roster, let alone the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, Eric wasn't expected to be drafted, and he got drafted based on how he performed at his pro day. I mean, he's incredibly fast, ran a 4.4, he's 6'3", 220, amazing athlete. And I think, he's going to be able to crack this team because of what he can do in special teams. I think he can contribute right away there. Also, with the CBA agreement, the way it works is that most teams are very top-heavy in their contracts. That a lot of money gets paid out to their top guys. So it doesn't leave a lot of room for those middle veterans, the 5-6-year guys, to make the team. So most teams that have big contracts like that are heavy on rookies. So it actually sets up really well for him. I mean, for him, he's going to have a much better chance of making this team based on their salary cap than he would on another team that doesn't have as high-paid players.
Now, Chargers draft, we were talking about it earlier. I mean, that's what everybody wants to know about. Your thoughts on the Chargers draft? I know you were talking about Verrett a little bit earlier, but I mean, your thoughts when you look at this as seeing these guys athletically?
I mean, they brought in amazing athletes with this draft. I mean, you look at Verrett, who is extremely fast, ran a 4.3 at the combine, really quick. He has a 40-inch vert, so he might be 5'9", but the guy can do a 360 dunk most likely, based on his vertical jump. He's a great athlete. their outside linebacker from Georgia Tech they brought in, Jeremiah, he is another, genetic freak. I mean, in terms of his athletic ability, they brought in a lot of athletes, so I think they did a really good job. I mean, these coaches can coach and teach them football. You can't really teach athleticism like this, and they brought that in. I think talking to one AFC scout today, he said that Verrett they couldn't find one flaw in his game. So I think he's going to be a lockdown, shutdown corner that the Chargers haven't had before.
A guy that got drafted today, Tyler Gaffney, 2008 Silver Pigskin winner from the Prep Pigskin Report, which you were on, by the way. This guy, we caught him with it earlier. This is what he said about being drafted, and then I want your assessment of it.
I was with the family. The house was getting a little more antsy than earlier in the draft, and it's just a load off my back. It feels good to know where I'm headed, what team wants me, and the opportunity ahead. For football, this might have been a little more stressful because with the baseball draft, I watched it by myself, and I was in my dorm just waiting in college. And here, I was with my family, so I kind of felt their antsiness, lead on to mine.
Your thoughts on Gaffney? I mean, people say he was big and kind of just, north-south runner, but I mean, what are your thoughts on him as an NFL running back?
I think he's going to fit great. I mean, the NFL's going to NFL by committee now, and he comes from a system, unlike Mike Evans and Johnny Manziel, which was a system, they come from a system type of a school. He comes from a pro-style school, so he's used to this playbook. He's used to this type of an offense. He's going to fit right in, and the NFL's looking for that north-south guy that can get 2 to 3 yards a carry. 4 yards a carry, just running straight downhill, and he can do that. I think he's going to fit really well. I think he's a much better athlete than people are giving him credit for. Watching him at the combine, I thought he ran a lot faster than people expected of him. So I think he'll do great. I think he's going to make the 53-man roster there, and I know his agents really well, and they say nothing but great things about him. So I think he's going to do all the right things off the field to prepare him for success and make the team.
Another guy that we were watching the combine here, and you were watching live, Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, you've seen a lot of just ridiculously gifted athletes. This guy's, I mean, freak is the right word, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, what we do at our facility to test athleticism is what's called a strength-to-weight ratio, and that tells us a lot about how fast they'll be, how high they'll jump, and his is off the charts. I mean, for a guy that size to be able to run the exact same time as like a Mike Evans at 4.53, which is insane for a receiver that was picked 7th. I mean, he is an athletic freak for sure. I think if he can adapt to what Houston's doing, I mean, he definitely could be, a great NFL player.
And what a lot of people here don't know is your prolific athletes right there in Carlsbad. We're going to go ahead and throw up the website here, and this is how you get a hold of them. You can go ahead and pimp yourself real quick, and then kind of tell us what for the kids, because a lot of kids go and train there. What they get up there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we not only do we train NFL athletes and college guys getting ready for the NFL, but we also work with a lot of kids, high school and middle school kids that are looking to improve their speed and looking to improve their skills. Whatever sport they play, we train football, basketball, baseball. All sports for youth, and our main niche is really developing speed and teaching speed. So any age we train there.
And they get the exact same thing as these guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Hey, it looks like we're out of time. I would shake your hand, but you're so far away. So anyway, hey guys, we'll go ahead and send it back to you there at the desk. Ryan Flaherty, Prolific Athletes, and he's now the trainer to Johnny Football. Trainer to the Stars.
Pretty sweet.
All right.
Kudos. Thanks to Ryan.
Guys.
Is it the camera angle, or does Ryan Flaherty have a 20-inch bicep?
Yes.
I'm just curious.
He's a strength and conditioning coach. Come on.
Okay, right. And by the way, freak is a good thing when you're talking about NFL prospects.
Yes, it's not a bad freak.
No,
exactly.
good freaks.
It's a good freak. Yeah.
Yeah.